Here she is. Isn't she beautiful? My book that took me basically my entire life to gather the experiences to be able to write this book, and a lot of time at my laptop, so I'm not going to negate the hard work that I did do to finally complete my book. But having it in my hands is such an amazing feeling, and I wanted to share the first few chapters with my TikTok fam because honestly, the feedback that I got from so many of you talking about dates, feeling frustrated with men, feeling frustrated with the situationships and the relationships that you're in, it really inspired me to write this book for you. I wrote this book for the feminine who is resting and emanating her divine femininity and wants to meet a king daddy, wants to meet a divine masculine that has done his work, that has faced his shadow, and that is ready to show up boldly and support her and provide safety for her so that she has the wings to fly. And I am giving you this 14-day process in order to call in your king daddy, your divine masculine. And I'm reading you the first 3 chapters of my book because I want you to see what it's all about. And hopefully you'll hear the call that you can actually intentionally call in your king daddy, your divine masculine. You have all the power within you. If you want to see the first part of chapter 2, see it in the playlist below. I linked it there. But I'm going to finish chapter 2 with you today, and we're just going to read it together, and hopefully you get something great from it. I talked about how you need to tend to yourself and you need to be pouring into yourself and doing what you want, because the step in step 2 is tend to yourself. So we're going to continue on that. What puts you in a state where you're totally present? Your mind may be producing thoughts while you're engaging in it, but these thoughts don't overwhelm you. They pass across your mind like wispy clouds across a lofty blue sky. They're here one minute and have blown by the next. For me, these activities are baking, socializing with friends, reading, sitting on the beach, and writing. If you still can't figure out where your bliss lies, look at what you did as a child. What were the things you enjoyed doing when you weren't trying to figure out how to entertain yourself? You just did them. I wrote little stories and books I stapled together from copy paper. I would illustrate the pages, which shows me I also like art, and I would write a corresponding story to these pictures. I also liked being around large groups of friends and conversing with them, sharing ideas and laughing. This tells me that as an adult, I'm an extrovert. I enjoy entertaining and discussing ideas with people on social media and in person. Take out a journal or a stack of copy paper that you've stapled together and make a list of the things you liked to do as a child. Make lists of the activities that calm you, spark joy, and put you in a Zen state. I call this my bliss list. When you start to get anxious in outer darkness because no hoes are blowing up your phone, pull out your bliss list. Force your anxious mind to choose one of these activities and then get her done. What you will find is that the energy you were pouring into hustling to feel chosen or worthy by a situationship, friend, or other outside source, you will now use to pour into yourself. And through this process, you get to know yourself, from trivial aspects such as your hobbies and quirks to the deeper and more intricate parts of your person, such as your wounds, inner child needs, and soul characteristics. As you tend to yourself, you create a heaven on earth within. Because what is heaven? In my mind, it's a place of rest and tranquility, a place of respite from earthly concerns and fears where all of my needs are met and I feel safe and surrounded by love. You can give yourself all of these heavenly elements. In fact, I would argue you are the only person on earth who can truly give you all of them. A soulmate can almost closely do this for you as you are intertwined on a soul level, and there is something cosmic about this type of relationship. It is why you are here. You are willing to delve deep to bring in a relationship of this extraordinary caliber. But even a soulmate can't meet every single need you have or understand the vast expanse of who you are at the level of conception that you yourself can achieve. As you create a heaven on earth within through this cultivation of self, you attract into your life relationships that most closely mirror this energy. This is why when a soulmate presents themselves, you will feel so seen, so loved, and so actualized within the relationship, because it so closely mirrors what you've already created within yourself. The most amazing part about this journey is that as you are doing this deep, introspective, most important work, your divine counterpart is doing the same. Your soulmate is going deep. They are learning about themselves. They are meeting their own needs. They are creating this vibrant and healthy self-love and actualization themselves. Can you imagine what a relationship would be like with this sort of person? It is what you have most likely waited for your whole life. They can tend to themselves without unhealthy attachment. They've learned about their triggers and wounds and what they need from a relationship to assuage those things. They know this because they have tended to themselves and met those needs before meeting you. Most likely, they aren't afraid of emotions because during their healing work, they've tended to their emotions and witnessed them. They've put a name to them and understood on a soul level what they need to address them. They can now articulate to you what they need from you to accentuate this process. Most of all, they have opened hearts that are soft and radiant. This self-work creates the most tender and movable heart that is open and ready to love and be loved. Say goodbye to avoidant, emotionally unavailable partners. A divine union partner has prepared their hearts to fully open to another. When you feel lonely during this time in outer darkness, hold on to the concept that as you're uncomfortable for the sake of inner peace and discovery, so is your soulmate. They are also sitting in the discomfort to be worthy of you. And when the time is right, your intentional steps to discover yourself, even though it's hard at times, will pay off immeasurably. This is how you rise above the dusty partners who lack self-awareness and can't meet your needs. It's how you break the patterns of accepting breadcrumbs from partners who turn a blind eye to their toxic treatment. As you get to know yourself and work on specifically meeting your needs, you won't tolerate someone who falls below that bar. You will gain the confidence that you are capable of tending to yourself, so you aren't looking for other people to do it for you. And through discovering your likes, dislikes, and passions, you start to have a good time tending to yourself. You gain respect and awe at the well-rounded, interesting person you are. As you create things, you will often marvel at what you did. You'll see your talents in full display and gain a new sense of gratitude and astonishment at your abilities. This compounds intermittently into a burgeoning and undeniable element of self-love that no one outside of you can provide. You'll see that if you feel so much discomfort in outer darkness that you lapse and reach out to a toxic friend or respond to a booty call text to get a hit of dopamine, the results will pale in comparison to how you make yourself feel when you're tending to yourself. Pretty soon, you'll be repelled by these types of exchanges because they feel so bad compared to the upbeat energy, joy, and peace you can cultivate when you're alone and giving back to yourself. When I went through this process, it got to the point where I didn't even want to spend time with other people because I absolutely loved spending time alone. Once I started touching on my passions and creating, I would get in this flow state where I didn't think about my feelings and instead became entirely focused on allowing my life force energy to flow unfettered. You will see that the more you create, the more this otherworldly power moves through you and pushes your creations forward. And it is such a positive, powerful energy that it becomes intoxicating. It is quite literally the universe moving through you to experience itself and put its bliss out into the world. The more you participate in this process, the more ideas it will give you. I had so many ideas for creation, from TikTok videos I wanted to create, podcast episodes I wanted to record, to businesses I wanted to start, and products I wanted to invent. I didn't have time to meet friends at the bar anymore. I didn't want to waste my precious time and energy focused on emotionally stifled men on dates. I started to get really choosy about who had access to me and how I spent my time. This meant I was leveling up. I was naturally raising the bar on who got access to my energy and time. And when it came to a love relationship, the bar got really damn high. That is because I took these small steps early on to cut out energy vampires and start doing what it is I wanted to do. And after I had taken care of my basic needs and gotten to a place of comfort and inner safety, I started prioritizing engaging with my talents and passions. This is your healing work. It isn't hard. It isn't exceptionally painful. At times it may be uncomfortable, and at this early stage in the game, I am asking you to be uncomfortable as you move through outer darkness and tend to yourself. Remember, when we define the uncomfortable unknown in the last chapter, it is quite literally where all possibilities lie. And honestly, what is more important? Is something or someone more important than you? Is gaining a divine union love connection after all the dusty relationships you've tolerated not the most important thing you'll do in your life? Of course it is. And it is going to take a bit of patience as you leave behind what is no longer serving you and you turn towards the most important relationship in your life, the relationship with yourself. You will soon realize that it was the most important decision you could make at this most important and crucial time of your life, and it will pay off in dividends for the rest of your life. That is the end of chapter 2. And I hope that you will follow along. I'm going to be reading another couple chapters and giving you the next few steps. But if you feel called and you know that your divine union is around the corner, make sure you check the link in my bio and get all 14 steps and start doing them today.